Salut! I'm Sumo from FrenchArena. First question, can you learn French alone at home? Let's talk about it in today's lesson. Now, a lot of my students ask me, Sumo, can I learn to speak the French language without actually living in a Francophone country, probably France or any other Francophone country of your choice? And my answer is always yes, you can. First of all, I don't just say this because I've seen it on the internet. I say this because that's exactly how I learned it. My home country was Nigeria, and I learned how to speak French in Nigeria without actually relocating to any other country to actually learn how to speak the French language. So, in today's lesson, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through 7 different ways in which you can learn how to speak the French language from the comfort of your home and at a relatively affordable rate or affordable price. Okay, let's get started. Now, the first way, and this is something that I personally did, I'm going to show a clip of myself speaking French later, but it's actually, I recorded myself speaking the French language. I know that it might seem a bit cheesy to some people or you might be shy, but then again, it's you and you. There's nobody else watching you. So what did I do? Literally, I would maybe watch a movie, watch series, read a book, and I would take out my phone and record myself talking about what it is I learned. Or at the end of the day, once I return home from work, I would record myself talking for about a minute or two, talking about how my day went, how my day could have been, who I met, what I did that day, what did I cook, what did I eat, what would I have liked to have eaten, just different vocabulary, because at the end of the day, I get to listen to myself and I get to notice the corrections and ensure that I don't make those mistakes the next time. So let me put up a clip for you to see how I was speaking or how I was recording myself speaking French.
Je commence en classe avec un professeur, mais c'est parce que j'ai réalisé que mon français, c'est bien, oui, mais quelquefois ou parfois, excusez-moi, quand je parle, j'oublie les mots et aussi j'étais un peu timide, je ne sais pas pourquoi, mais je parle français, tu vois. Mais donc ça, j'ai dit, ok, aujourd'hui est janvier, ne sais pas, oui, janvier.
Yes, that was me just talking and recording myself. And it honestly built a lot of confidence because what I realized is if I could speak to myself on my telephone or I could record myself, I realized, okay, Sumo, when you're talking to another person, just imagine you're talking to your phone and you will be fine. Let's take a look at the next step. Now, this one might seem very common, but I realize most people don't do it. And what is it? Summarize. It's very simple. Let me explain further. So there's something that I teach my students or I do with my students in my course. I give you a book to read and I tell you to summarize it maybe between 5 minutes to 15 minutes once you're done, maybe at the end of the month or 3 weeks, depending on what duration I gave to them. And what I realize is it made them immensely confident because what happens is you read a book and you summarize it in your own words. So I'm not asking you to write me a thesis on what you learned. I'm just asking you to read the book, preferably a book that most people already know or have read before in the English language, and then summarize what you know about it. So I'm going to show you an example of my students with her permission, obviously. We looked at the Cinderella story in one of the courses and I told her to summarize herself talking about the book. What did she learn from the book? And it was really, really exhilarating to see that she's able to pick up some words and use her own words as well to explain it. So let's look at that.
L'histoire de Cendrillon. La vivait une jolie jeune fille nommée Cendrillon. Elle était sympa et gentille, mais elle était malheureuse. Ses parents étaient morts et Cendrillon vivait avec sa belle-mère et deux belles-sœurs.
So, do you see what I mean? This is her in her own natural habitat. She's home. She's just talking about the book, what she learned from it, or what she would have liked to learn. Any different thing. You can just do this. You can pick up any book that you like. If perhaps you've read, maybe let me say, Little Mermaid, you've read it 1,001 times in English. Why don't you pick up the book in French and actually see how you can summarize it in French, and you would see the difference. Because what happens is when you read, you pick up new vocabulary, right? And even if it's an audiobook, when you listen to them, your pronunciation gets better. At the end of the day, you learning how to pronounce new words, and you equally learning new words helps you when you're summarizing. And you can talk about what you have learned in 30 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes, depending on your level, and see just how far this can help you to continuously learn French alone at home. Let's take a look at the third way. The third way is to read a French newspaper. I know you're thinking, Sumo, I live in whatever Anglophone country you live in. Maybe you live in the UK. How am I going to get a French newspaper? The internet, everything is online. So for example, the French journal Le Monde, it's perfect for you. What you can do is you can read bits every single day, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you can equally put in tip 2 that I taught you, summarize what it is you have read. Because you know what reading does? The more you read, the better it is for you. You get to understand the structure and how the French people structure their sentences. You equally get to pick up new words, which helps your vocabulary and your grammar. You get to see verbs that have equally been conjugated in writing format, and you're not confused as to, oh, what does this person mean here? What does this person mean there? So reading is extremely, really beneficial for you. Now, I said a newspaper because a newspaper is very good. You get to have different sections. So there's a food section, there's fashion, there's transportation. There are different things that they get to talk about. So you're not just boxed into learning one thing. You're picking up different pockets of articles, and you're just helping yourself daily by learning different things. If you do get stuck, you can use a dictionary. So for instance, if you see a word you've never noticed before, you don't know what it means, you're confused, probably you understand a bit of the phrase, but that word is just the missing step. What you need to do is open your dictionary and check out the meaning of the word. Or easier for you, go to Google Translate and check out, okay, what does XYZ mean? And then that clicks and like, yes, this is where I saw that word. And you would realize that the next day you see that word, or the next time, it's become second nature to you. You then immediately remember what the word was. Okay, let's take a look at the fourth way. Fourth way is to talk to people in French. I'm sure you're like, Sumo, I'm an A1 student. How am I going to do that? Do not worry, it is extremely possible. And it's also, there are free methods. I'm going to talk about one particular app that at least I had tried back then, and it's a tandem app. You can look into downloading it if you wish, and it's really easy. So what happens is you get a language exchange partner. You want to learn French, probably the person wants to learn English. What happens is both of you talk to each other in your native language, and you equally help each other. It's free because he or she is there to correct you if you make mistakes, and you two are also willing to correct that same person when he or she makes mistakes. So for instance, when I was learning French, I would reach out to someone who was preferably a French native and talk to the person in French, and then we'll chat. He or she would tell me, oh, this is where you made a mistake, Sumo. And we actually took it a step further and exchanged Skype details so that we could actually speak to each other at least 3 times a week. And I would tell you, it was immensely beneficial. What also helped is I ensured that we sort of had a schedule or timetable and topics to talk about. Because what happens is this person is living an entirely different life than you are, and the person has different things that he or she is doing. So you equally need to put in the work to ensure that both of you have something to talk about. Because if after a week or two, both of you are getting bored of talking, then there's no point, right? So what you can equally do is, okay, you decide that tomorrow we're going to talk about art. The next time we meet, we'll talk about food. You can tell me what food you cook regularly. I can talk about what food I cook regularly, okay? The next time we can talk about the weather. Tell me how the weather is in your country in January. How is it in August in your country? So the point is you get to talk to this person about different topics, and you would see that your vocabulary is improving Do you see that all these different steps I have mentioned, you're at home, you're literally not going anywhere, you're not getting a private tutor, you're not relocating to a francophone country, you're in the comfort of your own home and just putting in the work. Let's take a look at the fifth way in which you can learn the French language right at home. Now, number 5, it's keeping up with the news. You're probably thinking, is that not the same thing as a newspaper? It's not, because newspaper you're reading, but keeping up with the news, what does it do? It helps you listen. So you listen to what they're saying, and most of the time they also have transcripts for you to read as you listen. So an example is Radio France International. You can literally download it. It has an app. It's exemplary because they give you news of the day, which makes you listen to different things every single time. If perhaps you don't want to listen to fashion or you don't want to listen to sports, you can decide to check out what other news has been said before, and this would help you because you sit down, right? You have the transcript in front of you and you listen to what they say. You can listen to it 10 times a day. It's right there for you. This really helps because the more you listen, what I realized, repetition is key. The more you listen, your brain remembers and keeps these words. And you would find out that after a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, the more you practice, it gets easier and it gets better. In the beginning, yes, it's quite fast, which is understandable. But the more you practice, like I said, it gets easier for you and you stick to it. And listen to the news is also really good because it keeps you abreast of what's going on. It's in a different language, but still you know what's happening in the world, right? Let's take a look at the 6th one. Now, the 6th way in which you can learn the French language from the comfort of your home without relocating to a francophone country is by playing games. Ooh, trust me when I say this, it is very possible. I'm going to give you 2 examples. So for instance, my husband recently got a PS5 and I was playing around with it, and what happened is I switched the language to French, and he was like, Sumo, what's going on? But I'm like, hold on, I want to test something. I don't know much about PS, I don't know anything about games, but would I say the characters were speaking in French? And he was like, are you serious? Change it back to English, change it back to English. But my point is, if you happen to play games, I don't know, because I tried it and I could clearly see that I was losing, not because I couldn't speak French or because I don't know how to play the game. But if someone couldn't speak French and they're trying to play that game, they'll probably be losing because maybe they don't know what to do because it's spoken in French, but they may know what to do because they've been playing the game. I'm hoping I'm making sense. But my point is, if you love games, when you get back home, you can just relax with that and play it. Another one that is really helpful is Kahoot. The Kahoot app is great, honestly. I use it with my students and I use it sometimes at home. Probably we're having friends over and we want to just play a game and not necessarily Scrabble. We will look at the Kahoot app. So this app is free. I think it's free for a number of people, but you can check it out. What happens is literally, so you can type out games on francophone countries and you would see different games that you can practice. This stimulates your mind and you're also a bit relaxed because you're thinking, okay, I'm not actively learning the language, but you'll be surprised that even passively, words are sticking. You could decide, okay, let me learn something on subject pronouns, right? Just try that. You would see games on it. It helps you. You could decide, okay, let me learn French meals, how to cook or different French meals. You would see them. So the point is, it's a game and time goes by where you're learning something. You're picking up new words. You're improving your vocabulary, improving your grammar. And this helps you. Okay, let's take a look at the next way. The next way is eat, drink, and leave the French way. Trust me, I believe this is actually the easiest because you're acting like you're them. That's how I would say it, okay? You are literally trying to be in that immersive circle. So you're in your own bubble, which is your house, and you're ensuring that you're trying to do everything in French. Now you may ask me, Sumo, what do you mean? Can you talk more about that? Yeah. Think of it, if you decide to make a French cuisine, that is you learning because you see the ingredients are in French, right? You've picked up new words. You're trying to make the dish. You're watching probably a YouTube channel teaching you the recipes. Maybe they're speaking French, but subtitles is in English. That is perfect for you because you're learning new words, okay? Or maybe you like fashion and you want to dress like the French girls. You get to watch them and see how they are. So you're learning their culture, which is very good for you because you get to understand what they are like, and you can equally start becoming that way. I'm going to put up a short clip for you to see. There's this Vogue French, or Vogue France, excuse me. You get to see them cooking and doing different things. You can just watch it when you have free time and actually just pick up how they talk, how they speak, how they laugh, how they drink wine. Anything relating to the culture, because I always say this: you're learning a language, but you're equally learning the culture of the people. You cannot decide to learn one and not learn the other. It doesn't work that way. It's together. Okay? So if you're constantly asking yourself, how do I feel immersed without moving to the country, you can try this ways.
Pour la pâte à gyoza, on va utiliser 250 g de farine. Je vous conseille une farine riche en gluten comme la T45 ou la T55. 3 cuillères à soupe de fécule de pommes de terre ou de maïs, ça c'est pour que la pâte ne colle pas. 150 g d'eau chaude et une petite cuillère à café de sel. Alors on va commencer par la...
Another tip that's part of this that I give my students is, why not write down the words on each of the surfaces? So let me talk more about that. If you're talking about your fridge, for instance, you can write frigo on the refrigerator, right? If you're talking about your microwave, put the microwave word in French on it. If you're talking about a table, if you're talking about a bag, different things around the house. And what that does for you is, once you wake up and you see the window, for instance, you immediately know that it's fenêtre, right? So you know that this is what the window is. Or you look, you're in the bathroom, you know what it is because you've written it down and your brain remembers that, okay, this is what this is. And that really helps you. So yes, tell me, did you enjoy today's lesson? I always say this, that please, at the end of the day, the most important thing is to take action. With the 7 different steps that I have taught you on how you can learn French from the comfort of your own home at a very affordable rate, you can actually start today. So once you're done watching today's lesson, literally say, okay, Sumo says I should summarize a book. What book? Or Sumo says I should read the French newspaper, or listen to the French news, or download the Tandem app immediately so you can meet up with someone and start practicing. But you need to take action. You really, really do. Okay? To round up the lesson, I'm going to talk about a friend of mine who relocated to a Francophone country and still couldn't speak French 2 years after. What happened is, so she relocated to Cote d'Ivoire for work, which is equally great, but she's stuck in the bubble of expatriates. She didn't go out to meet the locals. She didn't try to make friends with French people. She just stuck with people that are equally expatriates as she is. And so she just could only speak English after 2 years. And then she returns back to our home country and she tells me, oh my goodness, Sumo, 2 years I was there. She picked up a few words, but she never could speak the language fluently. And it's one of her greatest regrets. Would she still be able to get the opportunity to relocate again? We don't know. Let's see what happens. But my point is, even if somebody dropped you today in France, if you are not proactive, if you do not take action, if you do not try, if you do not practice, you would never learn the language. So I can give you 7 steps, 7 tips, 1,001 ways in which you can learn French from the comfort of your home. But if you don't start practicing, it wouldn't stick. That's the main thing. Okay, now you clicked this video because you wanted to learn to improve your French speaking skills, and I'm hoping that this video has helped you out. Why don't you do something for me in the comment section below? Why don't you tell me if there are any other ways that have helped you, any other creative ways that have helped you to learn the French language from the comfort of your home, or that you're currently practicing and you're seeing that it actually works. Let other people learn from you, and let me also learn and see, oh wow, this way could actually be good for somebody else that I know. Thank you so much for watching today's lesson, and please do not forget to like, share, subscribe to anyone that might want to understand how they too can learn to start speaking French quickly from the comfort of their home. Until I see you in this next video, bonne journée!